Today's video is brought to you by Card Kingdom, and right now you can get this Sweet Scoop Soldier sticker when you order over at cardkingdom.com. Just mention in your order notes that you want a Scoop Soldier sticker when you go to checkout. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. And today we have a really interesting deck. So on Instant Deck Techs, we don't actually talk about control decks that often because control decks a lot of times are just a pile of removal, pile of counter spells, pile of other interactive spells, a finisher or two, so they're not really that great for talking about in 5-minute deck tech form, because you're just like, oh, that's a counter, that's another counter, that's a removal spell, that's another removal spell, and this kills you, that's the idea of the deck. But today's deck, Teferi Time to his control, I'm willing to make an exception for, because this is one of the more unique control decks I have seen for the Pioneer format, and it plays some really sweet cards. It wins in a really unique way. So in some sense, it's still a pile of removal encounters and thought seizes, but it's got a lot of sweetness thrown in. So we're going to break our don't cover control decks rule and talk about Teferi Time to his control. This one comes to us from Reinhardt Logan, who took it to a 5-0 finish in a Pioneer League on Magic Online. So congrats to Reinhardt Logan on a really sweet deck. And a quick reminder before we break down Teferi Time to his control for Pioneer. If you enjoyed this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So what makes Teferi's Time to his control so sweet? Well, the answer here is Teferi's Time Twist. This card is not something that I've seen many people play, but it's pretty spicy. So 2 mana, and you flicker something. Instant speed, exile a permanent you control, comes back during the next end step. If it's a creature, comes with a counter, whatever, that's fine. The cool thing about Teferi's Time Twist is it blinks any permanent, which is actually a pretty big upside compared to some of the previous effects, like momentary blink cards like that, often limited to just creatures. So the fact that Teferi Time Twist can blink any permanent is really what our deck is built around. So what are we blinking with Teferi Time Twist? And the answer here is Demonic Pact. So Demonic Pact, this is a card we've played before, we talked about before, really sweet card. 4 mana enchantment, beginning your upkeep, you gotta choose either hit something for 4 and gain 4 life, make your opponent discard 2 cards, draw 2 cards, or lose a game. You can only choose each one once. So the idea with Demonic Pact is you get a lot of value out of it, but you also put yourself on this clock, because eventually you're going to have to pick you lose the game, and then if your opponent's not dead by that point, things go really poorly. Like, obviously, losing the game is the ultimate punishment in a Magic game, but in this deck, Teferi Time Twist is our answer, and this is our main win condition. The way we win the game with this deck is we play our Demonic Pact, we draw some cards, make you discard some cards, hit you for 4, and then before we have to choose lose the game, we want to use Teferi Time Twist to blink Demonic Pact. And because Demonic Pact leaves the battlefield, comes back into play, it's coming back into play as a new copy of Demonic Pact, which means all the choices are back online. We can, again, draw cards, make you discard cards, hit you for 4, so that buys us a bunch more turns until we have to choose a you lose the game mode, and then we can Teferi Time Twist again when we're about to lose the game, reset Demonic Pact, start the loop again. So with 4 Demonic Pacts and 4 Teferi Time Twist, just our Demonic Pacts can kill our opponent. Eventually that 4 damage is going to add up to our opponent losing the game, because we keep doing it again and again and again. So this is what makes the deck so unique. We also have some other sweet blink targets. Disinformation Campaign makes our opponent discard, we get to draw. We do have a bunch of random surveil stuff in the deck, so we can pick it back up naturally, but if we don't have a Demonic Pact, we can always just Teferi Time Twist, essentially get another Disinformation Campaign trigger for just 2 mana. Torrential Gear Hulk, also very sweet with Teferi Time Twist. We can cast it and maybe exile something, flash it back from our graveyard. We got like Dig Through Times in the deck, instant speed removal spells, and then we can Teferi Time Twist to blink our Torrential Gear Hulk, comes back into play with a counter, and then Torrential Gear Hulk, if we want to, can actually Teferi Time Twist again from our graveyard, since it's an instant to reset our Demonic Pact. So kind of sweet loopy shenanigans, also a good way to protect our Torrential Gear Hulk from like removal spell. So that's the main Teferi Time Twist package. Then we have the typical control stuff. A whole pile of removal spells, Fatal Push, Murderous Rite of Roskus, Contempt, Language for a Sweeper, some counter spells. You'll notice we have a slight focus on surveilling thanks to Disinformation Campaign, Sinister Sabotage, yeah, you might play something else over that in other decks in Pioneer, but because we have Disinformation Campaign, Surveil 1 is more powerful than just an upgraded Scry. We're going to pick up Disinformation Campaign, cast it again, draw another card, make our opponent discard a card, drown in the lock, walks the line between removal and counter, Thought Seize, and then Thought Erasure, similar to our other Surveil stuff. Yes, maybe Agonizing Remorse is better in most decks, but in our deck, because we really want to Surveil to pick up Disinformation Campaign, Thought Erasure is the way to go. Then we have a couple of card draw spells, Discovery Dispersal, more Surveilling can also bounce, and then Dig Through Time, one of the sweetest cards to flash back with our Torrential Gearhulk. If we get Dig Through Time, draw 2 cards, 2 really good cards because we're digging 7 cards deep, and then Torrential Gearhulk, flash it back, draw 2 more really good cards, it's going to be really hard to lose. We find all the removal we need, we find our Demonic Pacts, we find our Time Twist, so we don't die to our Demonic Pacts, and proceed to win the game from there. Mana base wise, Castle Lockway, Castle Vantress, Field of Ruin, probably your most interesting lands, a little bit of extra value, and then a bunch of dual lands, Fabled Passage, some basic lands. In the sideboard, a ton more removal, much of it gaining us life for aggro matchups, Kalitas, Leyline of the Void for graveyard decks, with Kalitas also being a good option against aggro, a lifelinking, stonewalling blocker, a bunch of counters for control, Unmoored Ego to get rid of those Thassa's Oracles, Inverter of Truths, Underworld Breaches, things like that, and that is Teferi Time Twist Control for Pioneer, and that's been our instant deck tech for today. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.